Guys, gonna try something a little new here. Gonna see if yeah, we're gonna check and see if this works out. Let's see if oh shoot, still recording? Yeah, we're still recording. Just making sure. Okay. So we are just going to do a daily update, guys. I'm going to do this really quick. I don't have the chat or nothing. This is actually a recording. I'm going to do it this way. That way we can just zip through this for people that want just a straight daily update. I already posted a live stream. If you guys check this out afterwards, I apologize. But this is how I'm going to do it from now on. I'm going to do this little recording. I'm going to post it, and then I may do a live stream later. That's what's going to happen. That way I can keep this short. So, with that being said, okay, Schumann resonance. Not really a whole lot to talk about, guys. We are seeing a little bit of dip here and what's going on with this. But, you know, this is our new norm. It's what I've been trying to tell everybody, and nothing's really changing here. No big spike. This was kind of odd. I really hope, you know, if somebody can get an answer for me for that. I haven't really talked to Verte on this one yet. But that's really not a whole lot here, guys. Which is actually kind of strange because we have been having a lot of space weather. So, let's keep an eye on it for you. Space weather, okay. We got 340 kilometers per second. X-rays. Not a whole lot, guys. Things are very quiet. I look for things to stay quiet, and I'll explain to you why on the X-ray part of it, unless something changes. Geomagnetic activity, I look for this to start coming up, and I'll explain to you guys that here in just a second. We're in pretty quiet conditions right now. It's not dangerous conditions yet. If we stay really low like this for any length of time, they will issue a cosmic ray alert. Again, more cosmic rays get in. The further north you are, or the further south you are towards the poles, cosmic rays and stuff get in easier there. Everything gets in easier on the poles, just so everybody knows. Okay. Let's go down here. I'm going to show you guys this first. This is the Enlil model, and this is why I was talking about, you know, I've been showing you guys this for the past few days. This little increase here was over here, so this is actually, this whatever it's seen back here actually held true, which is very odd. Typically that will change. So whatever it seemed was pretty consistently all the way through there. So I do think something is going to be giving us some weather here in the next few hours. That is a density increase right here. The velocity increase doesn't happen until a few hours later, at least at a bigger way. It does look like we're going to go, stay that way for a good day or so. Now I want to point something out. Yesterday, this looks way different, right, guys? Anybody seen yesterday? This is just the increase. It's basically the same. Let me explain. Over here on the range, this was 300 to 700 yesterday. That's a 400 degree range, right? Right now, we're seeing it, just a couple hundred. So it went up to 700. This one doesn't even go up that far. So any kind of change on here is going to look bigger. I just wanted to explain that. Now, with that being said with this, we're going to look at the ACE data. Now, we're in the blackout time right here where the satellite itself cannot communicate with, they can't transfer data right now. So, we can't really tell because right now we should start seeing that uptick. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more here. If you look here on the Enlil, that's when it says, right? We're about right here in time. So we should be starting to experience the uptick. And we could be. We just don't know it yet because this ACE data, we can't get any data from it yet. But right here, even right before it went offline there, you can see maybe a small increase starting to happen on everything. Okay? So we might be starting to see that. Now up here on the BZ, we always look for the negative. If it gets into the negative, that means that the door's open from the sun to really just spew energy. I'm not going to go too much into detail on what that actually is. If you got, it would take so much time to try to explain that every video, and I can't. It just takes way too much. So if you really want to know the technicality on that, I would encourage you to research it a little bit and respect yourself. Everybody can understand this. Don't think that you can't. Okay? And if you need help understanding, feel free to email me. I tell people that all the time. And people do. And I try to help out as best as I can. But anyway, you got this right here. This is the phi angle. It's doing, everything's kind of staying right here, right? But this is what I call popcorn, right? But it's really not. And popcorn means variable conditions, going from high to low really, really quick. But we have to look at the range. Look at the range over here. 340 to 400. That's it. That is a 60 kilometer per second range. Usually, that's why I tell everybody you got to look here first. I've never seen it do this. Okay? It's all, for me, when I look at this thing, usually it's between like 300 to 500 at least. Usually it's bigger than that. So what I'm saying is, if this was 300 and that was 500, this thing here would look like a straight line. The dots would be so close to each other. That's what I'm trying to say. This it's not that variable. This is a very consistent signature, and it is trending down. But right here at the end, it looked like everything started trending back up. And if we are to go off of this one, then we should start seeing an increase in activity. Okay. This right here kind of shows you. Look, the electron flux is staying just. Man, I ain't seen it that consistently straight in a long time. The magnometers, same thing. Okay, proton flux, obviously, it's staying there too. So, here's the aurora. Not much going on here, guys. When we're not getting space weather, we don't get aurora. Okay, but that is, we do get some, but it's not going to be intense, is what I'm saying. We did experience some of that, the past few days when we were getting weather. And matter of fact, I'll show it to you now. Okay. Again, they caught in Norway, which is closer to the poles. There was a minor crack in the magnetic field, like we've been talking about, the McPherson effect. It's something he discovered that happens around the equinox. There's actually a season of it where the cracks are more predominant and they happen more often. But why we see pink aurora is because the particles get down closer to the surface and they start bouncing off of the nitrogen particles. When we see the green ones, that means they're higher up because they're going off of the oxygen particles. Okay, I think I'm correct there. So here, the color of the oxygen atoms being struck by energetic particles, typically 100 kilometers to 200 kilometers above Earth's surface. Pink appears when energetic particles from space descend lower than usual, striking nitrogen molecules. Okay, that's not to say that oxygen molecules ain't down that far. All that's saying is that nitrogen molecules aren't typically above that. Okay, obviously we know we have oxygen molecules down here on the surface. It's just saying that the nitrogen is more prominent closer, below that level. All right, that's why we see it like that. That's why they're pink. It's interacting with nitrogen particles because it's closer to the surface. So. Here is I'll show you guys this. This is the magnetopause models. Sun's off to the left. Now, what I want you guys to see, and I'm going to start this over right here because if you look here, see how we're kind of, we got a lot of lower colors here. We're pushed out. We're kind of flat. Well, because everything was kind of weak out in front of us. The wind speed was low, density was low. That's why. Now we're starting to get that increase again. And our bow shock's going to go back to pretty much a more normal looking shape. All right. But you're seeing this bounce around. That means that we're getting activity. Things are a little bit variable. It's not, massive right now. But the density one here does show it too. Actually more so. Let's go back to the beginning. See how we got white? If you were to go back a couple hours here, this whole screen was white. You didn't see any of that. And you could actually see the density coming in. So that's actually what's happening here. It's still low density, guys. Really, really low. Typically, it's not like this. Usually, way out here in front of our bow shock, usually it's more so this darker color, which means it's more dense material. So what's happening here is we had high solar wind, and it kind of flushed out all those denser particles. And now something's happened, and we're starting to see more dense particles again. here you go with this. This is the pressure model. Let's go back to the beginning here. Again, let me pause this. If you go back about an hour, guys, you would have seen that this was pretty much almost blank. There wasn't any pressure hardly anywhere, just a little bit. If you watch my previous video, I'm doing this right after that live stream I posted. Okay, you'll be able to see it on there. I'm going to do these daily update videos before my live streams from now on. I just decided to do this because I want to get this down under a half hour for you guys that need that. Okay, I'm trying, guys. I really am. So this is simply going to be just a daily update. I'm going to stick straight to it and move on. All right. But there's not a whole lot here to show you. So it's not really sense in wasting the time there, you know. Right here, guys, this is the radiation belts. I got you at 50 here, which is pretty low, and 4,000 over here, which is extremely high. So I'm giving you a range there to look at. And it's not much to see. Okay, there's just not much going on here. This is all very normal conditions, nothing crazy. I did see right about there. You see that? That's not really a whole lot of anything, but it is a different, it does show that more is getting in right there. Okay, it just means it's a little bit directional. And also, where did that other signature go? Okay, you can kind of see how we're kind of tilted this way, but it's not much. Coronal holes, we're now seeing a mark which wasn't actually there an hour ago. That's just a northern coronal hole. It's always there. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of activity, guys. There are no coronal holes right now. And this sunspot over here, and I'll show it to you more so right here, that's going away. Okay? I'm going to update this and see if it gives us anything else. It did eject over here a little bit. Not much, but this one here is that one that was sunspots off and on as it went through the face here. Okay? But as this thing goes off the limb, you're going to see this X-ray flux tank. Unless some more sunspots or active areas pop up on the front side of the sun facing us. This is already low. This is going to get us even lower if we go into a period of time with no sunspots, which means ham radio operators are going to have some issues. First responders that use that communication, use the ham radio operators for communication, they could have some issues. But it's not the geomagnetic activity. This right here, I do look for this to go up because of what that Enlil model is showing us. Okay, I do look for that to uptick here, but the overall like sunspots and stuff like that, I look for the activity really to slow down. We don't see hardly any coronal holes, nothing really big's happening. Let me zoom in here a little bit so I can show you this up here. Just watch up here. You'll see it kind of lift off, and it does look like some of it might have lifted off and went on out into space, which would have been a CME of some sort. Not a big one. See that right there? See how it did that? I couldn't really say if a whole bunch of it left, but it does look like some of it did. Now remember, even though it looked like it lifted off here, it's actually attached way up here. Okay, so watch what I'm saying here. You see how we got some activity here, but then watch when this thing goes up, right there. See how it goes back to here? The base of that's over here, or even here. So, but regardless, it's connected in more than one spot there, and that happens a lot. So, but I do think some of that plasma left, but it is not coming at us. Okay, I don't think so. I think it's going off the backside at an angle. Just my opinion. But you know, the CME tracker is not updating right now, guys. It hasn't for some time, since the 30th, I think. And we've had ejections since then. Not big ones, but we've had some. Here's the other ones. I want to say this too. When we're looking at these things, this is a good way to show you guys that our visible spectrum is really, really small what our eyes can see. We get hammered all the time for showing you guys captures where we have to put a filter on it to actually see what's actually there. Let me explain why. What you're looking at right here, okay, are different gases. Without these filters, we wouldn't see these at all with our eyes. Okay? Now, with that being said, what makes us be able to see it? They assign this a color, okay, that we can see. They make it visible for us. What I'm saying is, this right here is the 171 angstrom. We cannot see the 171 angstrom with our eyeballs. Okay? If you go look at, I think it's Soho. If you go look at Soho, the 171, it might be Stereo A, I can't remember. But it's blue. But it's the same gases we're looking at. They just assigned it a different color. That's it. So what I'm saying is, when we show you guys captures of things that are that we can't see unless we put a certain filter on it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. That's not photoshopping. All that is adding a filter so we can see something that may be there or may not. Because we wouldn't see any of these gases unless they added that to it. So I just wanted to point that out, you know. Obviously, I understand the skepticism on all of that, okay? I was one of the biggest, huge skeptics in the world before I even got into this, just to let you know. But once you see some certain things, there's some things you just can't deny. And when that happens, you'll know it. But anyway, this is just the other magnetopause model. It is showing a little bit more of an increase out here, so I do think we're starting to see the beginnings of that density increase. Okay, I showed you guys that later. Okay, here's the Australian model. It's bouncing around a little bit, not a whole lot. Let's go back to the fourth and watch it. But you're going to see that bouncing around. Why does it stretch out a little bit further? Well, because what I just said a minute ago, the density out here and the wind speed slowed down and got lower. So we kind of pushed out a little bit more, and our bow shock actually flattened a little bit. You can even see it in this model. So when we're getting hit in the front, it kind of bends it on the edges and gives it more of an arc. So, you know, I want to say this too. Sometimes I'll see this thing, you've seen it right there, kind of pop off the edge here. I've seen it to where this whole yellow bow shock representation was off of the complete picture. It went completely away. This thing looked blank. It had shot out so far. So that's kind of normal, you know, and we'll see that when we get big solar activity. This thing will bounce way out here. We get rapid compression when we get hit, and we push back so hard against that, and once we win that battle, we shoot out. Okay? Our magnetics and stuff will push out just for a second, and then they bounce back to normal unless we get hit again, right? Geoelectric field map, I actually didn't show this in my previous live stream here, but you're not going to see a whole lot of activity, guys. This is what you're going to see. It's back to that. This is why I wasn't showing you guys this for a while, because there wasn't nothing going on here. It was just the same thing day after day. But this is a good indication when we're getting solar weather, okay? And right now we're not. I look for that to change here in about the next few hours, but we'll wait and see, okay? Here's that sun diver. I'm going to show it to you guys again. It's right in here. Right about... You going to make a liar out of me here? Now maybe was it the previous day? Was it on the 3rd? I think it might have been on the 3rd. Yeah, it was. There it goes. You see that? It zipped right in there, didn't it? But, you know, there it goes, right? Remember, I was asked what is a sundiver, right? Well, a sundiver is a comet that gets captured by the sun. Halley's Comet is one that I always go back to and reference. I was able to see that one. Okay, it comes back roughly about every 75 years, I think. I probably won't get to see it again. I'll probably be passed away before that comes back around. But that one's big enough and far enough away that the sun it's actually in an orbit around the sun, guys. Okay? But eventually that one will even go away too, because it's a big ball of ice and gas. And the more it interacts with the sun, each time it does, it loses stuff. Okay? Now, it's not to say that it can't pick stuff up as it's out doing its little orbit thing, right? But, eventually that one will probably get ate up too. So, to speak to what a sundiver actually is, it's a comet or an asteroid or anything like that that gets sucked in by the sun, that can't escape the gravity of the sun. That's what you see there. So, as far as the actual activity, again, there was something here that I seen I thought was kind of odd. I'm going to pause it. Okay. I'm going to back it up to what I seen. Now, for some reason, the tool picked up some sort of CME action signature on both sides of the sun here at the same time. I don't know what's going on there. It could have been just a flash, or it could have been a tool flaw. I don't see anything after this to like make me think anything's crazy going on, but I did want to show that to you. Okay. Earthquakes. I was doing that live show a little while ago, and as I was talking to him, showing him this one popped off. It's kind of funny. But anyway, that did happen. It was only a 5. It's out here in the middle of the Atlantic, and I know a lot of people think that that's kind of a crazy spot for one. But if you look at these fault lines and plate boundary lines and stuff, you will see that that's not out of position at all, okay? When you get things off of these things, that's when it's odd. Like up here in Alaska, that far north. Or over here in Kazakhstan. Karatin, Kazakhstan. Can't believe I can even say that. Anyway, here's one too in the Philippines. Oh, that one just popped off, guys, as we're sitting here talking. What do you know? Happened again. 4-9. That just happened? Yeah, it did. So, there you go, guys. That's the most latest one. You've seen it live. At least while I'm recording this. I'm going to post it right after. But yeah, guys, that's that. Now, I'm going to show you guys this too. Dutch did a stream. And I'm not going to say the words he used because the algorithm will smack it. But it starts with a D and it ends with a W. And the middle one is an E. Okay? So if you guys can figure that out, I'm going to call him a beam. Alright? That's what I want. That's the word I want to use. So what he's seeing here is this. Okay? He's that. Okay? Obviously, looks like a beam, and it looks like one of those, well, we'll call it a wed. How about that? That's backwards. We'll call it a wed. It got wed. Okay? Anyway, he goes into detail what he thinks this is. And I'm kind of on board with him a little bit on it. But I do want to show you this too, okay? It did it again, right here. And he showed both of these, okay? Now, if you look at the angle of this, and you compare it to the angle of the first one, look how more straight up and down this one is, and look at this one. Okay, you see how it's got more of an angle? It's more horizontal than what that one was. That was standing more straight up, and this one here even kind of curves a little bit. That just did an update. Sorry about that. But as you can see, it did it twice. So as he's showing this, I was like, well, is it happening anywhere else? So that's where my mind went, right? And he was like down on the regional version, right? Like down on top of it, showing it, and it was there. So I go here, and obviously it's there too, but this is a little bit further south. This is what I seen. Okay, did you see that? Watch the light go that way. Okay, see how I'm rocking it back and forth? But in my opinion, the Earth's rotating from left to right here, correct? So how is the light actually going from left to right? Shouldn't it be going the other way? Just my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm not familiar with this tool a whole lot. You guys already know that. But that is something that I noticed. I was watching Dutch's stream, and I don't think he mentioned this. So I don't know if it has anything at all to do with it. I don't even care if you use my name. I don't care about that. I don't care about the recognition. All I want is to know what it actually is. So if anybody has any way to like access to maybe get Dutch this and let him see it and see what he has to say about that one, because I'd be interested to see. I'm on board with him here on this, and I'm just curious if this little light thing we're seeing here might be something different than what we think it is. Okay? It's hard for me to say that it's not related when you go from that light right there, and then the very next capture, boom, that's there. Okay? My thing here is, were they using maybe that as a camouflage, maybe to try to say, hey, listen, we'll be able to hide it from everybody if we kind of camouflage it with something like that. Who knows? But as you get going through there, and again, guys, like I said, it does it 2 times there, and they look similar in the fact that one of them went this way and one of them went that way both times, but this one was at a different angle. Okay, so I wanted to point that out. If you guys go check it out, go check out Dutch's stream, please. It would definitely, I'm on board with what he's saying there. Okay, I just don't know what that is. I'm wondering if it might have a little bit of influence on what we're actually able to figure out here. Because it doesn't stick around long. It's there and it's gone. So, if anybody has access to get this over to him, maybe somebody point that out to him. Maybe he can look at that. I would, again, I don't care if you use my name or not. I don't even care about that. I just want to know what it is. That's all. So with that, guys, we are going to end this. That is just a pure update. I hope you guys have a good time, a good start to your week here, good end of the weekend. God bless. Yahuwah saves, and you can, drink this Kool-Aid.